Which you can start. Which you can start.
Purananam alayam karunalayam Nami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Sadasivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. With the abundant blessings of our Acharya Swamiji, we are proceeding with our study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, together with the commentary of Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada. We are in chapter 10, chapter 9, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga. As seen yesterday, Jnana Vijnana. Bhagavan is bringing our attention to Jnana and Vijnana once again. Vijnana, he has drawn our attention to several methods in so many chapters. And he made a distinction between those who perform yajnas, pujas, etc., with a view to attaining mundane pleasures and pleasures of Swarga, etc., and those who have as their goal only Paramatma and nothing else. They don't care even for their body. For such people, I take care of their yoga kshema, their mundane welfare. Then, is there partiality on Bhagavan's side? No, he said. I reside in those bhaktas, and those bhaktas reside in me. Whereas in the case of others, I do not have any special love or hate. He made it very clear. Now, in order to recommend bhakti towards Bhagavan in a higher level, he is proceeding with this shloka. Api chet sudura acharo bhajate mam ananya bhak sadhureva samantavyaha samyak vyavasito hisaha. When this shloka is started, Shankara makes this comment, Shrinu mad bhaktehe mahatmyam. Listen to the glory of my bhakti. Api chet suduracharaha. Duracharaha, a person of evil conduct. Suduracharaha, a person of extremely evil conduct. Api chet, even if such a person, mam ananya bhak bhajate, if he worships me, ananya cheta satatam, he had said earlier, isn't it? If he comes to that level, why not? Transformation can occur in every human being at any point of time. There are enough evidences in our history and our Puranas. So, it is not impossible that a person who is of an extremely evil conduct, suduracharaha, resorts to this method and focuses his attention only on Paramatma, Ananya Bhav. Ananya Bhakti Sann, with no other goal in his devotion. And if such a person, Mam Bhajate, if he worships me, Saha Sadhureva Mantavyaha, he should be considered as a sadhu, as a person of good conduct. A person who was described as one of extremely evil conduct is now being considered as a sadhu, Sattvaguna, a man predominantly of Sattvaguna. Sadhureva Samantavyaha, he should be considered as a sadhu. Samyak vrittaha eva. Samyak vrittaha means a man of good conduct, a man of good attitude. Samyak vyavasito hi saha, not only sadhu, why should be considered as a sadhu? Because his attention, his effort is now in a good direction. Samyak vyavasitaha. Vyavasaya is resolve, determination, and effort. All of this is mentioned, contained in this word, vyavasitaha. Samyak vyavasitaha. Very well. His attention, his effort is all very well directed. Samyak vyavasitaha he is emphasis. When his attention and effort are all directed towards Paramatma and Paramatma only, then what is preventing us from considering him as a person of good conduct? So this is an encouragement for coming to this line from the mundane line. Now in commentary, Madhusudana Saraswati, he says, Ajamiladi river, like Ajamila, he says. So is there any precedent? That is our normal question. Yes, he is recommending Ajamila as the president. Srimad Bhagavatam contains the story of Ajamila in great detail. A Brahmana who was married, who was with his parents, who was with his wife and children, strayed into evil ways. And then he strayed so much into evil ways, he abandoned his family, abandoned his parents. Then he started living with a concubine. Now, when the time for death came, he came back to his family. And then he developed, out of love for his son, he called Narayana because his son's name was Narayana at the last minute, at the moment of death. So if you remember Bhagavan at the moment of death, Bhagavan will come to you. He has said, already he has given that promise. This man did not remember Bhagavan. He remembered only his son, but he pronounced the name of Narayan. So Vishnu Dutas came and fought with Yamadutas because Yamadutas wanted to take him away to Yamaloka for punishment. Vishnu Dutas drove them away. And then both of them left. It is not correct to say that Vishnu Duta took them to Vaikuntha. No, that is not the fact. Fact is, both of them left, and this man, he came back to life, and he remembered the conversation between Vishnu Dutas and Yamadutas. And that conversation, because in that conversation, if you see, a lot of spiritual thoughts are contained, particularly the value of Bhagavan's Namocharan, pronunciation of Bhagavan's name. So since this man pronounced the name of Narayana at the time of death, he should not be touched by you. This was the argument of Vishnu Dutas to Yamadutas. Yamadutas went and reported this matter to Yama. Yama also confirmed, yes, what Vishnu Dutas said is correct, you made a mistake. So then after this, Ajamila went to Kashi, spent many years in Ganga Tira, developed jnana, and then finally he went to Vaikuntha. So this is an example of a man who was Sudurachara converting into sadhu. Bhagavatam says, Iti jata sunirvedaha kshanasangena sadhushu gangadwaram upeyaya mukta sarvanubandhanaha. Look at the change. Iti jata sunirvedaha. Like this, he developed extreme detachment after listening to that conversation. Extreme detachment. Sunirveda. How? Kshanasangena sadhushu. He spent only a very short time among sadhus, good people. Who sadhus? Vishnu Dutas and Yamadutas. Both were sadhus. They were doing their duty. Don't think Yamadutas are bad. Yamadutas are never bad. They do their duty. Both were doing their duty. That's why he's saying Kshanasangena sadhushu, a group of two sadhus. When they were discussing, this man got that company of the sadhus. So he developed a detachment. Sunirvedaha. Gangadwaramupeyaya. He went to Gangadwara. Mukta Sarvanubandhana. He got himself freed from all bondages. So naturally, once jnana comes, all karma bandhas get broken and all karmas get burnt in the fire of jnana. We have seen that repeatedly. Bhagavan has told us. That is what happened. So, सृज्यस्य वाक्यां दुराचारताम् अन्तः सम्यग् व्यवसाय सामर्थ्यात्. Bhakyam duracharatam utsrijya. This applies to any person referred in this shloka. External evil conduct, leaving it aside. Why he says bhashyam? Was it not internal? Yes, it was internal. But even more internal is Atma, which is ever pure. So everything is bhashya as far as Atma is concerned, including the mind. So in that sense, Antat Samyak Vyavasaya Samarthyat, he was able to put in maximum efforts and maximum focus on Samyak Vyavasaya, Samyak Vyavasitaha, on Paramatma. So that is Suduracharaha, Ativa Kutsita Acharaha, extremely evil conduct. अपि चेत् सुदुराचारो भजते मामनन्यभाक् साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यक् व्यवसितो यतः क्षिप्रं भवति धर्मात्मा शाश्वतशान्तिं न गच्छति कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्तः प्रणश्यति. If this is the case of a man who is sudurachara converting into a sadhu, what about dharmatma? When this man becomes a dharmatma, or a person continues to be a dharmatma for a long time, what happens to him? Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nigacchati. He becomes dharmatma immediately. Kshipram. There is a manifestation of Ganapati called Kshipra Ganapati. There are 32 manifestations of Ganapati, out of which one is Kshipra Ganapati. He blesses immediately, instantly. So, Kshipram Bhavati Dharma. This man, who was a person of extremely evil conduct, he becomes a Dharmatma instantly. Shashvat Shantim Nigacchati. Shashvat Shantim Nigacchati. Shashvat Shantim. He attains eternal peace, everlasting peace. It's not as if he, like we say, Smashana Vairagyam, Prasava Vairagyam. These are all commonly used terms. A man develops detachment when his wife delivers. Similarly, a man develops detachment when he goes to Smashana at the time of cremation of his parents. This is all temporary detachment. Now we are talking about Shashvata Shantim, eternal, everlasting peace he gets. Why? Because he Samyak Vyavasitaha. His resolve is like that. He has decided whatever he was doing was all wrong. So, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Hey Kaunteya, you make a promise. Pratijanihi means you make a promise. Name bhakta pranashyati is a very famous, celebrated sloka. My bhakta never is destroyed, never faces destruction, never faces evil time, bad time. That promise you make. What is it? Why he says Arjuna to make this promise? He should be making this promise. This is a very subtle theory here. Arjuna's promise, Bhagavan considers as better than his own promise. He has been making a lot of promises earlier also. Now it is time for Arjuna to make this, having listened to Bhagavad Gita all along, having developed all sattvic qualities. A devotee, he is giving higher status to a devotee than himself. That is the interesting point here. That is why he says, Pratijani, he make this promise. Pratignyam kuru, nishchitam pratignyam kuru. Do this resolved promise. What promise? Name bhaktaha pranashyati. Mayi samarpita antaratma mad bhaktaha na pranashyati. Having dedicated his antaratma to me entirely, he will never face any destruction. He will never perish. This is the promise you make. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma shashvat shantim nigacchati. Shashvat shantim, eternal peace. कौन्तेय प्रतिजानीहि न मे भक्त प्रणश्यति मां हि पार्थव्यपाश्रित्य येऽपि स्युः पापयोनयः स्त्रियो वैश्यास्तथा शूद्राः तेऽपि यान्ति परां गतिम् मां हि पार्थव्यपाश्रित्य. Now he talked about durachara people, isn't it? Now he is going one step ahead and he is saying, once anybody who takes refuge in me, vyapashrita is an important term here. Ashraya, Vyapashraya, Vishesha Ashraya. Once somebody takes complete refuge in me, Mam hi Vyapashraya, he is emphasis. That means only in me, nobody else. AP, whoever it is, Papayonayaha Syuhu, they may be the worst sinners. Papayonayaha, Papayonayaha, Papaha Yonihi Yesham Te Papayonayaha, Papa Janmanaha. That is, they have taken a Papa Janma. And he is giving further details of some Papa Janmas. Papa Janmas, those who have committed sins in their previous birth and have taken a birth, human birth this time. We are talking about such people. It can be any of the four Varnas. But he is talking about a few people here because those particular people whom he is mentioning are into those births because certainly of some Papa. If you talk about a Brahmana, you cannot call him a Papayoni because that Janma is the best among Janmas and he has attained that Janma because of accumulated Punya. So, Striyo Vaishyas Tatha Shodraha, women, Vaishyas and Shudras, he is clubbing them together as an indicator of Papayoni, of those who committed sins in their previous birth, and so they have attained this birth. But this does not make any disqualification, any defect in them for attaining me. That is why he says, Tepi avanti param gatim. Even those people attain supreme salvation, even women, even Vaishyas, even Shudras, even Papayonis, those who have taken Papa Janmas, even they. Now, why did he mention Striyo Vaishyas Tatha Shudraha? The general understanding is, well, this is something which is subjective. That is, even Shankara has not commented on this particular expression because this is self-evident, number one. Number two, controversial, unnecessarily people read meanings which are not conveyed by Bhagavan. That is why many people have not commented on this. But those who have commented, what they say is, it is a question of attitude. These three groups have an attitude which is not suitable for moksha, for jnana. Why? Because for attaining moksha and jnana, you need freedom of mind. Your mind should be free. Swatantriyam, that is absolutely that is an imperative. That's an absolute imperative. Brahmana is the man who is supposed to have the highest freedom. This is as per our Shastras. Why? Because he is supposed to lead a simple life. He is very close to the ideal which Bhagavan has been mentioning, supposed to be. He is supposed to be spending his time on Vedas, Pujas, Yajnas. He has got only 6 activities as per Shastras. Studying Vedas, teaching Vedas. performing yajnas, making others perform yajnas, and accepting charity and giving charity. These are the six dana. These are the six activities, no seventh activity for a Brahmana. This is how Shastra describes. So if a person who has been a Punya Janma and engaged in this type of activities, his chances of getting jnana are much higher, it is obvious. Whereas women by nature are subject to influence of their parents, of the husband, of the family. So their exercise of freedom is difficult. This is the understanding because they have other commitments. They are always committed to something other than attaining jnana. Whereas should not have any commitment. That is the difference. But why he left out Kshatriyas? He could have included Kshatriya because our Puranas and Shastras are quoting a number of kings as jnanis. Number. When Kalidasa describes Raghuvamsham, the lineage of Rama, Surya Vamsha, he says all of them were Rajarishis. He is making a statement. All the kings in that lineage were Rajarishis. So there has been a stream of Rajarishis in the past. So having that in mind, he excluded Kshatriyas, though Kshatriyas also have other interests. No, not like Brahmana. They have other interests. They have a duty to protect the country. They have a duty to protect the people. They have a duty to expand the kingdom in case of requirement and so on. So their duties are onerous. In spite of that, they have shown their attitude toward attaining jnana. That is why they have been excluded. This is an interpretation given by scholars. Whereas Vaishyas are more committed to earning wealth. That is their attitude. Shudras, they are more committed to working for others. In fact, all the present day population, all communities are Shudras in this sense because they are always serving either in a company or in an office or somewhere, serving others. Once you are serving others, you come in this category as far as mental attitude is concerned. You have lost your freedom. A Brahmana is that's why Brahmanas and kings were because king is also having a freedom. Kshatriyas have freedom. So mental freedom. It's a question of attitude. Whereas these people, these categories, Vaishya has freedom, no doubt, he is in business. But his attachment to money, creation of wealth is so high that his freedom he will never exercise. This is the idea. So if these three also can reach supreme state, what about others? That is the point he is taking up in the next shloka. So actually, there are many instances in our Puranas, in our history, of people belonging to these three categories, Striya, Vaishyas, Tatha Sudraha, attaining salvation, moksha. Many. Some have been quoted by scholars. In Mahabharata, there is a Vaishya called Tuladhara. He gives Jnana Upadesha to a Brahmana called Jajali. This is there. A hunter gives Upadesha to a Brahmana. That is known as Vyadha Gita. Vyadha means hunter. These are all parts of Mahabharata. So this is recognized. There is no exclusion. This is only a statement to make us interested in taking the path of jnana. That is, don't be slave to anything else, be slave only to Paramatma. That is the message he is trying to convey. Similarly, there have been many stories in Puranas, many stories, even among our Nayammars, our Aivas, our other Bhaktas, Sri Mirabai, so many. There are endless examples can be quoted for all this. So this is not a general exclusion. This is a pointer to the innate nature of these categories not being very agreeable, very convenient. So they have to make more efforts, in short. मां हि पार्थव्यपाश्रित्य येऽपिस्य पापयोनयः स्त्रियो वैश्यास्तथा तोद्राः येऽपि यान्ति परां गतिं किं पुनर्ब्राह्मणाः पुण्या भक्त्या भक्ता राजर्षयस्तथा अनित्यमसुखं लोकमिमं प्राप्य भजस्व माम्. What then to talk of Brahmana? Kim punar Brahmana? Punya Bhakta Rajarshaya Tatha. Not all Brahmanas. Punya Bhakta. Those who have Punyas. That is why they became Brahmanas. Now they have to accumulate more Punya. Bhaktas, they have to show their Bhakti. Rajarshaya. Now he is saying why he excluded Kshatriyas. Because many of the Kshatriyas have proved themselves to be Rajarishis. A Rishi is, by definition, one who has seen Veda mantras in his vision. That is the definition of a Rishi. Mantra drashta. Rishihi mantra drashta. One who has seen mantras. Because mantras are not learned. Mantras are seen in this screen of their mind in their deep meditation. That is the definition of a Rishi. So that is why all mantras are, in Veda, all Vedic mantras are attributed to Rishis. This mantra comes from this Rishi, Vishwamitra, Vasishta, Bharadwaja, Bhrigu, and so on. There is a Rishi for every mantra. So some of the Rishis are kings, Raja Rishi. So when they have become Rishis, how can I include them in this Papayoneha, that category? So they have shown themselves to be capable. So that is why they have been excluded. So he is saying Brahmanas and Raja Rishis. What is the difficulty for them? Kim Panaha? What to speak of them? They should have no difficulty. Now he is coming to the final teaching. This half shloka and the next shloka is summarizing the teaching, what you should do. Forget all the other clauses. Now I am summarizing. Anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvamam. Imam anityam asukham lokam prapya. Having attained this world, you have attained this world. Having attained this world, which can be described only by two terms, anityam and asukham. There is no sukha in this, it is only misery, and there is no continuity. It is highly transient. We have seen the time scale, how Brahma's day is 1000 Chaturyugas and all that. In the context of the time scale, what is our human life? 100 years, 100 human years is nothing. One human year is one day for Devas. That is how the calculation goes. Even between Devas and us, there is a tremendous time gap. So, and they live eternally. That is why they are known as Amaras. They never die. It's not that they never die. They live for such a long time that they are termed as Amaras, whereas we are all considered as Martyas, subject to Mrityu. So, this is Anityam. This Loka is Anityam. Loka itself is Anityam. Loka itself will die after some time. So, and this Loka is full of misery. Anityam Asukham Lokam Imam Prapya. Having attained this, Mam Bhajasva. That is the simple summary. Worship me. Worship only Paramatma as the goal. Do not get yourself attached to mundane pleasures. मन्मनाभव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैश्यत्वैवम् आत्मानं मत्परायणः. He is again summarizing the whole teaching. Imam lokam, manushya lokam prapya purushartha sadhanam durlabham manushyattvam labdha. Not only having attained this world, you have also attained the status of a human being. In this world there are animals and insects. You are born as a human being. Purushartha sadhanam durlabham manushyatvam labdha. This is the commentary. Because only humans are capable of exercising their intellect to attain jnana and moksha. Though purushartha sadhanam, this manushyatvam, this human status, is actually a means for attaining jnana and moksha. So having attained this, why will you not attempt? Manmana bhava. This is a summary. Focus your mind only on me. Mad bhaktaha bhava. Become my devotee. What is different between manmana and mad bhakta? Having focused your mind, then what is there for bhakti? Bhakti is love. You may focus your mind and still have a hatred, have a negative feeling. It's not hatred. Oh, somebody is forcing me to focus my mind. I don't have any interest. That is not the way. Full of love. You should not love anything else. Your love for Bhagavan should be so great. That is Mad Bhaktaha. Madhyaji. You will not be spending all your time in meditation. So whenever you do any activity, that activity you dedicate to me. Madhyaji. Yaji actually refers to one who performs yaga. So keep performing yagas is the direct meaning, meaning all your activities consider as pujas to me. Mam namaskuru, always worship me, prostrate to me. That means all your bodily activities you dedicate to me, because prostration is done with the body, isn't it? Dandavat pranamaha. So body should be, all activities of the body should be dedicated to Paramatma. All your mental activities are focused on me. All your words naturally should be focused on me. Because yajna includes words, isn't it? Pronunciation of mantras. That is what Madhyaji he said. So body, mind and thought, body, mind and words, they have to all be focused on me. That is the idea. If you do that, Mame Vaishyasi Yuktaivam Atmanam Matparayanaha. Matparayanaha. With your goal entirely dedicated to Paramatma. Evam Yuktva. Like this, in this manner, you have attached yourself to me. That is, you have focused your mind, you have developed the love, you have dedicated all your activities of mind, of your body, of your words to me. So your focus is, your goal is entirely me. Then, evam atmanam yuktva. Atmanam is yourself, self. So you have attached yourself in entirety to Paramatma, and your goal has become Paramatma, Matparayana. If you do that, Mameva Yeshyasi, you will definitely reach me only. You will not go anywhere else. You will not stray anywhere else. This is the final teaching, summary of this chapter. Atmanam mam. Aham hi sarvesham bhutanam atma paracha gatihi param ayanam. This is how you should think. Atmanam mam. The Atmanam Yuktva is one way of attaching. If you attach Atmanam with mam, because that is the way the sloka has been constructed. Atmanam Yuktva is dedicate entirely yourself entirely to me. That is Atmanam mam. If you take, then he is giving a different meaning. That is, I am your Atma. Atma is always Paramatma. Aham hi sarvesham bhutanam Atma. All living beings have their Atma only as Paramatma. Paracha gatihi. That is the supreme goal. Param ayanam. That is the path, supreme goal. There is no other path, no other goal. Nanyat pantha ayanaya vidyate. Veda declares there is no other path for this human being. Na anyat pantha ayanaya vidyate. There is a declaration of Veda. There is no other goal for, no other path for the human being. So that nicely summarizes this chapter. We move to next chapter, chapter 10, Vibhuti Yoga. इति श्री महाभारते शतसाहस्र्यां संहितायां वैयासिक्यां भीष्मपर्वणे Srimad Bhagavad Gita su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Raja Vidya Raja Mukhya Yogo Nama Navdhyayaha. Now we move to chapter 10, Dashamodhyayaha, Vibhuti Yoga. Here, right in the introduction, Adi Shankara gives us an inkling of what we are going to be taught and what we have covered. He says, Vibhuti Yoga, by definition, Vibhuti is glory, manifestation of glory. An external appearance of glory is Vibhuti. सप्तमे अध्याये भगवतः तत्त्वं विभूतयश्च प्रकाशिताः नवमे च. In the 7th and 9th chapters, 9th chapter we have just finished, 7th was earlier. In both these chapters, the philosophy of Bhagavan and his vibhutis were all mentioned. Prakashitaha. अथ इदानीं येषु येषु भावेषु चिन्त्यः भगवान् ते ते भावाः वक्तव्याः. Now what is the subject being taken up? Then what are the ways in which Bhagavan can be approached? Bhagavan can be thought of. Yeshu yeshu bhaveshu. What are the bhavas in which Bhagavan can be thought of? So various bhavas which will help a sadhaka in his sadhana. That he is giving a big list so that at least something you will do. That is the idea. Tattvam cha bhagavataha vaktavyam uktamapi durvijnayatvat. Now, Bhagavan Tattva is being repeated. So, Shankara is already mentioning right in the introduction. Why he is repeating? Durvijnayatvat. It is difficult to grasp. Because it is difficult to grasp, Bhagavan is giving his own Tattva, his own reality once again, and he is going on to explain various vibhutis, various manifestations in which one can think of Bhagavan. That is the idea. Now, this chapter is comparatively simple. As I said, after chapter 6, all the remaining chapters are comparatively simple. There is no great complicated tattva. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Oyayeva Mahabaho Suname Paramam Vachaha Yakteham Priyamanaya Bhakshyami Hitakamyaya. Hey Mahabaho, hey mighty armed Arjuna, Bhuyayeva Shruno me Paramam Vachaha. Once again, he himself says, once again, Bhuyayeva, once again. My supreme words, Paramam Vachaha. Paramam Prakishtam Nirtashaya Vastunaha Prakashakam Vachaha. This is the interpretation of Adi Shankara. Why Paramam Vachaha? Supreme words. What is supreme? Nirtashaya Vastunaha Prakashakam. A Vastu, an object, which has no equal, which has no parallel, extraordinarily rare, such a Vastu, that reality, exalted utterance, which reveals the reality that has nothing superior to it. Niratishaya Vastunaha. So that is why these words are supreme. Yatteham priyamanaya vakshyami hitagamyaya vakshyami. Now I am going to tell you those words, supreme words. Listen once again. Why I am telling you once again? Yatteham priyamanaya. Those words, yat, te aham priyamanaya. I am telling you these words because I love you. Look at the love of Bhagavan towards Arjuna. Madvachanati priyate tvam ativa amritamiva pibanne. That is the interpretation of Adi Shankara. Priyamanaya. I love you. That is the meaning. I have great liking for you. Why? Madvachanati priyate tvam ativa amritamiva pibanne. You drink my words as if it is amrita. You drink my words as if the words are amrita. That is why I like you. Vakshyami, I am going to tell you. Hitakam Why? What is the purpose? I may like you, but why should I give you these words? Because I want hita for you, good, supreme good, the best for you. When somebody goes for an examination, you wish him all the best, isn't it? All the best. So the same thing here. All the best for the human soul. There it is for success in the examination. All the best. Now here it is all the best for the human soul. Hita kamyaya. The best for the soul, for the Atma. Hitechaya. भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परमं वचः यत्तेऽहं प्रीयमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकाम्यया. Actually, this Vakta and Shrota, the speaker and the listener, are very important in Upanishads. All the Upanishads are teachings of a guru to a Shishya or a group of Shishyas. So, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, a Kathopanishad, which is actually a teaching of Yamadharmaraja to Nachiketas, entire Upanishad. Big Upanishad. There, Yamadharmaraja teaches Ascharyo Vakta Kushalosya Labdha. This teaching which I am giving you, this Vedanta, the teacher is rare, and a person who listens with sincerity is also rare. Ascharyo Vakta Kushalosya Labdha Asya Labdha. One who receives this teaching, Kushalaha, he is in fact lucky, he is very fortunate, he is capable. Kushalaha actually, Kaushalya is capability. His capability only brought him to this teacher. That is his capability. Shravanaya bahudhiryo nalabhyaha shrinvantopi bahavo yam na vidyuhu ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdha ascharyo jnata kushalam vishishtaha. This is the teaching. Shravanaya bahubhihi yona labhyaha. So good listeners are not there. The teacher says, good listeners are difficult to get. Even though many people may come and listen, many people will not come to listen. How many people are going to listen to Bhagavad Gita lecture? Even though many will listen, having listened, they don't understand Paramatma. In this circumstance, Ascharyo Vakta Kushalosya Labdha. In this circumstance, a good teacher is difficult to get, and a good listener is very lucky, very capable. Ascharyo Jnata Kushalanusishtaha. Having listened, if he puts it into practice, it is even rare. It is even more Ascharya. Ascharyo Jnata Kushalanusishtaha. So that kind of glorious teacher-student relationship which Kathopanishad is mentioning, that is where we are now. That is where Paramatma is teaching Arjuna. Bhagavan is teaching Arjuna. That is the situation here. Name vidussuraganaha prabhavam namaharshayah ahamadirhi devanam maharshenam cha sarvashaha. Shankara mentioned at the beginning, isn't it? Bhagavan also mentioned bhuya again. So it is coming again. न मे विदुः सुरगणाः प्रभवं न महर्षयः. मे prabhavam. Prabhavam can be interpreted in two ways. My origin and my power. Prabhavam also means prabhavam, origin, the power, the ability to bring about change. That is prabhav. Prabhu Shakti Atishayam, lordship. One is lordship, another is origin. My origin and my lordship. Suraganaha na viduhu. Even devas, groups of devas, they don't understand. They don't know. Groups, why is he saying groups? Because there are several groups among devas also, Yakshas, Gandharvas, and so on. Na maharshayaha viduhu. Even maharshis don't know. Maharshis, yes, they are great. They are maharshis because they have seen, perceived Veda mantras, we just saw. Even then, they have not understood Paramatma in entirety. Why? What is so difficult about it? Understanding Paramatma? Ahamadirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashaha. Aham devanam maharshinam cha adihi. I am the origin of all these devas and all these maharshis. Origin is always difficult to understand for a person who comes later. For a person who comes later in the line, it is difficult to understand the origin. Do we know our grandfathers properly? Do we know our seventh generation Purvaja properly? It's not possible. We don't have that ability. Similarly, though Devas and Maharshis have much greater ability than ordinary human beings, how will they understand their own origin, from where they came? Sarvashaha, in all respects. I am the beginning of Devas and Maharshis in all respects. Upadanattvena, nimittattvena, buddhyadi pravartakattvena, ityevam bahuprakaraihi. This is the interpretation. Sarvashaha. One word has got so much of interpretation. In all respects. What is in all respects? When Bhagavan created this world, our Advaita Tattva says, he is Upadana Karana and he is also Nimitta Karana. Upadana is material. Nimitta is instrument. The normal example given in Vedanta is a potter. He creates a pot. So for which he uses material of clay. So there is a Upadana Tattva, a material cause. Then there is an instrumental cause. What is instrumental cause? He uses some instrument, plus he himself is an instrument. Without him and his instruments, the pot cannot be created. But here, Bhagavan does not need an instrument. Bhagavan is himself the creator. And does he need an external material like clay for the potter? No. He himself is the material. So that is the beauty of this universe. There is no other cause other than Bhagavan as material cause or as instrumental cause. Upadanatve, then if that is the case, one who has been created, whether it is Deva or Maharshi, how will he understand? It's very difficult. Upadanatvena, nimittattvena, buddhyadi pravartakatvena. I am the one who gave them intellect, etc. Buddhyadi. Intellect, etc. All their powers stem from me. Iti evam bahuprakaraihi. So like this, in many ways, I am their origin. So how will they recognize? How will they understand? Vyomam ajam anadim cha vetti lokamaheshwaram asammudha samartyeshu sarva pape pramuchyate. So, when this is the situation in which they are born, if they are able to go back and understand me, yo mam veti, one who understands me, because it's difficult to understand, difficult to know. So such a difficult to know person, such a difficult to know power, if they have known. Ajam anadim loka maheshwaram. Three adjectives he is using for Paramatma. Ajam, he is never born. Though he said he is the origin, was he born at any point of time? No, he is there ever. Anadim, no beginning. He was never born, he has no beginning. And he is the Lord of all the worlds, Loka Maheshwaram. Turiyam Ajnana Tatkarya Vivarjitam. When you say Loka Maheshwaram, we should not take in the normal sense. That is what the commentator thinks nicely. So he says, Loka Maheshwaram. When you take a boss in an office, we understand him in a particular manner. When you take a guru and a shishya in a gurukula, we understand in a particular manner. We understand their role, we understand what they do, etc. But this is not like that. This is not one of those known masters and disciples. No. This is a completely different situation. Why? Turiyam ajnana tatkarya vivartitam. Because the entire creation is covered with ajnana. We have seen before. Ajnanena avridam jnanam. There is a concealment of ajnana, though there is a core of jnana. This concealment is very powerful, that Maya. The entire creation is out of Maya. So, this creation, it is created out of ajnana, it is covered out of ajnana, covered with ajnana, though it has the core of jnana. How can it understand, how can it recognize something which is only jnana, which is turiyam, which is the fourth state? Turiyam is beyond all this, the fourth state, beyond Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, beyond the waking state, beyond the dreaming state, beyond the deep sleep state. Because these are only three states known to anybody, whether it is a Deva or whether it is a Maharshi, whether it is an ordinary human being. They don't know the fourth state. Fourth state is meditation, samadhi. Only through that you will know this. So that is the issue. Loka Maheshwaram. Asammūಢः samartyeshu sarvapāpaiः pramuchyate. This man who knows, that is how it started, na? Yo Vetti, the man who knows me, Saha, that man, Martyeshu Asammūఢः. He is a distinction among men, Martyeshu. He is a different man. Asammūఢः, why? Because he never got deluded. Sammūఢः means one who is deluded. What is delusion? Atma, Anatma, Vivekaha. If you are not having Atma, Anatma, Viveka, the distinction between Atma and Anatma, you are a deluded man. So these people have come out of the delusion, so they are great. So, Sarva Papaihi Pramuchyate. So he gets released from all sins. Well, these concepts have been taught to us, that is why Bhuyayeva, once again. नमे विदुस्सुरगणाः प्रभवं न महर्षयः अहमादिर्हि देवानाम् महर्षीणां च सर्वशः यो मामजमनादिं च वेत्ति लोकमहेश्वरम् असम्मूढः समर्थ्येषु सर्वपापैः प्रमुच्यते बुद्धिर्ज्ञानमसम्मोहः क्षमा सत्यं दमः शमः सुखं दुःखं भवो भावो भयं च भयमेव च. In the last shloka, in the term Sarvashaha, in all respects, I am the creator, he said, isn't it? And we explained it in the commentary, saying that he is the material cause, he is the instrumental cause, he is the one who has given us the intellect, etc., etc. Bahu prakaraihi. Now he is expanding that idea, because if you say in brief, difficult to understand. So he is expanding that idea. What are the things he has given us? Some are negative. Those are also he has given us. Now he is going to tell us. Buddhir jnanam asam mohaha shama satyam damashamaha sukham dukkham bhavo bhavo bhayam cha abhayameva cha. What are the things he has given us? He has given us buddhi, intellect, jnanam, knowledge of the world, and if you extend knowledge of Paramatma, for which you make special efforts. But both are knowledge. Knowledge of the world around us, the sciences around us, that is also knowledge. Asammohaha, not getting deluded. Just now we saw asammodaha, same. Not getting deluded between Atma and Anatma. Buddhi antahkaranasya sukshmadyarthavabodhana samarthyam. What is buddhi? Intellect. The capability of the intellect to even perceive very subtle. This Vedanta is very subtle. We are able to understand in some limited manner. That is what he is saying. Sukshmadyarthav abodhan samarthyam. Jnanam atmadi padarthanam avabodha. At least know the meaning of the terms like Atma, etc. That is knowledge. Asammohaha pratyutpanneshu bodhavyeshu vivekapurvika pravrittihi. He is now interpreting at a common man's level, not at the jnani's level. All these interpretations are at a common man's level. Common man who is an aspirant, who is a sadhaka, who is on this path. That is how it has been interpreted by Shankara. Pratyutpanneshu bodhavyeshu. Something which has come up in front of you and you want to know about it, there you exercise your discrimination, viveka. Don't blindly go with that what you have seen before. Whatever you have seen in front of you in the world is all false. That is what Vedanta teaches. So that is where you have to use your discrimination. Viveka purvika pravrittihi. That is asammoha. Then kshama. Kshama is tolerance, endurance. Akrushtasya taditasya va avikrita chittata. When somebody inflicts violence on you or when somebody ill-treats you, your mind should not undergo any vikara, any change. That is kshama. This is the definition of kshama. All these qualities have been given by Bhagavan to us. How did we develop all these qualities? That is the context in which we are understanding now. Satyam. Next is Satyam, truth. What is truth? यथा दृष्टस्य यथा श्रुतस्य च वा आत्मानुभवस्य परबुद्धि संक्रांतये तथैव उच्चार्यमाणा वाक् सत्यम उच्यते. As we have seen, as we have heard, this reminds us of court proceedings. In the court, you take from a vow on the Bhagavad Gita only, saying whatever I say will be the truth and nothing but the truth. Now that is what he is bringing out here. As seen and as heard, whatever you have experienced, Atma Anubhavasya, Parabuddhi Sankrantaye, for the understanding of another person, whatever you speak, that is Satyam. Damaha. Damaha is control of sense organs. Pahya Indriya Upashamaha, control of sense organs. Shamaha, control of the mind. Antakaranasya Upashamaha. Sukham, Akhladaha, pleasure. Dukkham, mental misery or bodily misery. Bhavaha. Bhavaha is Udbhavaha, that is starting point, creation. You understand how you came into being from your parents. You understand that. You understand how all these plants and trees have come into being. You understand. You understand the origin. Abhavaha, something which is not existing. Something which is not existing can be interpreted as Bhagavan, can be interpreted as anything which you don't see. America is not existing in front of me. So it can be treated as Abhavaha. Or Bhagavan, I cannot understand, so it can be Abhavaha. Now all these are faculties given by Bhagavan to a human being. The next faculty is Bhayam cha Abhayameva cha, fear and fearlessness. Fear also he gives, fearlessness also he gives. In fact, fear is not something which we should completely avoid. Shastra is very clear in that. You should fear something which will take you to a wrong path. You should fear. Just as if you meet with a snake on the road, you will avoid the snake. You won't go and fight with the snake. So you develop a fear of the snake. These are examples given in Shastras. So similarly, you should avoid an evil man. You should avoid dussanga. That is, you should fear dussanga. You should fear everything bad. So fear is also a requirement. So bhayam is a requirement. Abhayam, of course, fearlessness. When you are on the path of dharma, abhayam is extremely important. You need abhayam. Without abhayam, you will not be able to proceed successfully on the path of dharma. Now, I have picked up few Subhashitas and a Niti Shatakam. We are going back to Subhashitas and Niti Shatakam, I think, after a long time. Because it depends on the subject we are discussing. One Subhashita says, Yakkurute parayoshit sangam vanshati yaccha dhanam paratiyam Yascha sada guru vriddha vimani tasya sukham na paratra na cheha. He talked about buddhi, jnanam, etc., isn't it? One who runs after other people's women, vanchati yascha dhanam parakiyam, one who runs after other people's wealth, and yascha sada guru vriddha vimani, one who dishonors elders and gurus, old people and gurus. Tasya sukham na paratra na cheha. He will not enjoy any sukham, either here or hereafter, in the next world also. Na paratra na cha iha. So, this is the teaching. Similarly, there is one more subhashitam. Manasyekam vachasyekam karmanyekam mahatmanam. What is satyam? Whatever they have in their mind, they will speak the same. Manasyekam vachasyekam. And they will do the same. Karmanyekam mahatmanam. There will be complete unity in their thoughts, in their words, in their deeds. Thought, word, and deed will be exactly the same. That is Mahatma's definition. Now we will go to this Niti Shatak. Niti Shatakam of Bhartrihari, full of Niti only. So very relevant to our discussion. लोभश्चेदगुणेन किं पिशुनता यद्यस्ति किं पातकैः सत्यं चेत् तपसा च किं शुचिमनो यद्यस्ति तीर्थेन किं सौजन्यं यदि किं निजैस्त्वमहिमा यद्यस्ति किं मण्डनैः सद्विद्या यदि किं धनैरपयशो यद्यस्ति किं मृत्युना. If you have lobha, greed, what other bad quality you need? That is the way he argues. He is a kavi, no? He is a poet. So his arguments are couched in a poetic manner. He says, do you need any other bad quality? You have greed, that is good enough for you. You have enough bad quality. Lobhasched agune nakim pichunata yadyastikim patakaihi. If you have pichunata, that means talking ill of others, then do you need any more sins? Similarly, if you have truth, do you need any more tapas? Satyam is the greatest tapas. Suchi mano yadyasti tirthe nakim. If you have pure mind, suchi manaha, your mind is absolutely pure, then do you need to go on tirtha yatra? No need, because tirtha yatra is for developing purity of mind. Saujanyam yadikim nijaihi. If you have good relationship, saujanyam, with everyone around, that is your innate quality. Your innate quality is to behave with kindness with everyone. Then kim nijaihi. Then do you need people who are close to you? Everyone is close to you. Nija is a person who is close to you, your relative, your close friend. You don't need that kind of close circle because you are close to everyone. So Mahima Yadhyasti Kim Mandanaihi. If you have your own glory, your own innate greatness, then do you need another person to come and praise you? Mandana is praise. Is it required? What is the need for other people to praise you if you have your own innate glory? Sad Vidya Yadikam Dhanaihi. If you have good Vidya, good education, good knowledge, do you need any other wealth? Vidya is the greatest wealth. Apayasho yadyasti kim mrityuna. If you have ill fame, apayashaha. Everybody talks ill about you. Oh, nobody likes you. If that is the case, what will Mrityu do to you? Why are you afraid of death? Because you are already dying. You are surrounded by death when everybody is talking ill of you. So this is an emphasis of developing good qualities which are being referred to in this sloka. लोभश्चेत् अगुणेन किं पिशुनता यद्यस्ति किं पातकैः सत्यं चेत् तपसा च किं शुचिमनो यद्यस्ति तीर्थेन किं सौजन्यं यदि किं निजैः स्वमहिमा यद्यस्ति किं मण्डनैः तद्विद्या यदि किं धनैरपयशो यद्यस्ति किं मृत्युना बुद्धिर्ज्ञानमसम्मोहः क्षमा सत्यं दमः शमः सुखं दुःखं भवो भावो भयं च भयमेव च. He is continuing with similar qualities which he has given us in the next shloka, which we will take up in our next session. We close for today. We meet again next Saturday at 7:30 p.m. IST. Any questions for today?
Those who have questions, please unmute yourself, turn on your video and ask questions. Any questions? Yeah, one question. Parvati ji.
Yes, go on.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Namaste, Guruji. Very well explained in a simple language.
No, I can't hear you
Very
properly.
simple explanation. Oh, some signal problem, sir?
Yeah, I think so. I can't hear you properly. There is some signal issue.
Gurubhyo Namaha.
Either Himabindu or Sayantan. Are you able to hear
Very
her
simple
properly?
explanation.
Yes.
You have explained exceedingly well.
Yeah. I understand. Yes.
You have
I think there's some
explained
signal
it too
You're saying that
explicitly
the explanation has
in
been
a
quite
simple
simple. Well, all credit
language.
goes to Bhagavan, all credit goes to Arjuna, all credit goes to Acharya.
So it is my pleasure
Yeah, thank you.
to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Any
Yeah.
other questions?
I think there's a signal problem issue at our end.
Krishnarpanam. Thank you so much.
Krishnarpan. Okay.
No other questions, please.
No other questions. Okay. We close for the day and we meet again next Saturday at 7:30 p.m. IST. Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadeva Sarvatra Govinda Namadam Kirtanam Govinda Govinda Shri Mahatripura Sundarye Jaya Jaya.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks everyone.
Yes, thank you.